Alright, so let's get this. Boom. A couple years ago. Alright, let me tell you a story. 10 years ago, I was 16 years old. I opened my eyes in a foreign land with my leg on my shoulder pointing that way, completely broken in half. And that's something I'll never forget. Let me explain. In case you don't know, my name is Mohammad Taher. I'm an engineer by day. I work at Heathrow Airport. But let me share you some stories that are the building blocks of who I am and the things that taught me most about life. And this is one of them. 16 years old, I get the chance to travel for the first time ever on my own. I get on a plane completely by myself, and the destination was Sweden. And for the first time ever, my dad had allowed me to go travel. Luckily, my sister lives there, so I'm not completely alone. Quick little hop from London to Sweden. I arrive and I'm excited. First silly mistake, the whole time there I was texting somebody on my phone, which meant my phone died, which meant when I arrived to this foreign land, my phone was switched off, which meant I couldn't actually get a hold of anyone. I had to go get in a bus to go into the city centre. My family was waiting for me at the city centre, so already they thought I had died, but I was like, no, I'm fine. 16 years old, thinking I own the world. Anyway, I arrived at the city centre. My family's waiting there, thinking I'm not going to come off this bus. I get there, first frustration, first issue over, fine. I get home. Now, this is where things get interesting. I know that the next morning, I'm about to hit the slopes. For the first time in my life, I'm about to ski. So like any 16-year-old does, I pick up my phone, I go on YouTube, and I search how to ski. And I decide that I'm right there and then going to learn how to ski on YouTube. I start watching one YouTube video, two YouTube videos, and this is now about 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. the next morning I have to leave. So I'm like, you know what, I need to get some rest. The second YouTube video was about how to actually go in a straight line. The third YouTube video was about how to start to slow down, how to stop. And I remember watching halfway through this video and thinking, I really should get to sleep. So halfway through this video, before he actually explains anything about how to brake, I vaguely remember he was talking about some plow method. I'm like, you know what, I need to sleep because tomorrow is going to be a big day. So I switched my phone off, put it by my side, and go to bed. I told myself I'll watch the rest of the video in the morning. So next morning I wake up and we're late. I quickly get my clothes on, jump in the car, and now we're on our way for the first ever time in my life, we're about to go skiing. We try our shoes on. It was me, my sister, and my brother-in-law. I'm feeling comfortable, I'm feeling confident that this is going to be an amazing experience. Brother-in-law goes for a snowboard, my sister goes for skis, and I was the first one to receive all my equipment, and I was just so impatient. I'm like, they're taking forever. They're absolutely taking forever. I want to go up the slopes. So the stupid 16-year-old that I was decides that, you know what, while they're putting their skis on and doing everything, I'm gonna go up the slopes. So there I was, waddling like a penguin towards the ski lift. It wasn't a ski lift, it was one of those like hooks that you put between your legs and then you go up. Get on that, go all the way up, and then at the top of that little first peak, I'm like, let's go for this. So I take the ski thing off. And remember, I'm on like the green slope. If you don't know about skiing, the green slope is the easy slope, it's the baby slope. In Sweden, they call it the barnbacka, which is literally like the child slope. So I start heading down this barnbacka, and there's all these kids that are like slaloming, going back and forth, and I'm watching them do all this stuff, and I'm like, how are you managing to steer? How are you going left and right? Because all I was doing was going straight down this mountain, and I mean straight down this mountain. I was trying my best to try and twist and turn, but it wasn't happening. So I was like, you know what, I've seen how they do it in the Olympics. I'm gonna curl myself into a ball, and I'm gonna start pushing my sticks into the snow to get as fast as possible. And I start gunning down this mountain so fast, and I get to the end of this mountain, and there was like this massive boulder of ice. And I remember when going over this boulder of ice, I kind of landed and stumbled, and I was like, yeah, that was sick. Yeah! Let's do that again. Get back in the skis, hook myself back onto the skis, so obviously they flew off because I crashed, and I go back in again. Now at this point, my sister still hasn't arrived, but I see her, she's off in the distance, and she's about to come. So I could have waited about 2 or 3 minutes, and I could have gone up with them, but I decided, nah, I'm just gonna go up by myself. So once again, I put this thing between my legs, and I start to head up this mountain, and I get to the top of the mountain. I'm like, you know what, this time I'm really gonna try to slalom. So I get off this little peak, and I start to head down this mountain, and as I'm I'm going down and I'm trying to slalom, I keep falling to the left and falling to the right. By the end of it, I'm like, you know what, this isn't working. So I'm gonna do what I done last time. I'm gonna put myself into a little ball and I'm gonna gun it down this mountain. And I start doing just that. And as I start to build up speed, I had all these kids that were crying across my path. So what I was doing, I was using my sticks, telling them to get out the way, waving for them to get out of the way. Little did I know, as I started to lose control. From one ski to the other, I'm losing control and I'm building up speed and I'm like going really, really fast. And then I get to the end of this slope and that same boulder of ice that I told you about last time had so much speed this time that it basically turned into a little ramp, and I went flying over it and crash landed on the other side on a piece of solid ice. That's when I opened up my eyes. And what I saw when I opened up my eyes was my leg, was going like this, sitting on my shoulder, pointing that way. And I remember in the back of my head, I got a little voice going, Mohammed, you've just broken your leg. You have two choices. Either you panic and the panic will solve nothing, or you just sort this out. As a 16-year-old, I remember that voice of wisdom was the moment my whole life changed, because my brain was giving me a choice as to how to respond. And the reason why I guess I had so much clarity in that moment is because I had no pain, zero pain. I had broken my femur, the biggest bone in the body. I had broken it in half and I felt no pain. And I remember in that moment, that's when I told myself, well, panicking is not going to solve anything, so let me just sort it out. And I remember lifting up my leg from my shoulder, putting it back where I thought it belongs. And as I was doing that, I had some Swedish guy run over to me and he was like, hey, are you okay? I was literally holding my leg in that moment thinking, bruh, I've broken my leg, call an ambulance. So he was like, I'm gonna go call an ambulance, And then he came back to me, he's like, we're gonna have to get a helicopter to lift you out. And I'm just thinking, yes, boy. That's exactly what I wanted. A helicopter, getting snow lifted. Now that is a story I can go back to school with. Anyway, it turns out they weren't gonna do the whole helicopter thing. Proper disappointed. Instead, they came on snowmobiles. And I remember I was so calm at that moment. As they were lifting me off the snow and putting me onto the snowmobile, I had a guy who'd been who was just talking to me constantly while I was there. And he told me, Mohammed, I've been doing this job about 35 years and I've never in my life seen anybody so calm while they've broken their leg, while they've broken any bone in their body. I've had people who break their fingers and they're more stressed than you are. You've literally broken the biggest bone in your body. And I remember looking at him, I'm like freaking out, getting stressed, panicking is not gonna solve the issue. My leg is broken, I just have to deal with it, right? There's no point of stressing out. There's no point of just over exaggerating. It's not gonna solve anything. I kind of just need to deal with the situation. And to be honest with you, thinking back, that was such a crucial moment in my life, and it's applicable to so many different things. How many times in life do we stress out about something where the stress itself doesn't actually solve anything? It's only the action that will solve the issue. And that reminds me of a quote from Jeff Bezos that I was watching. I was scrolling through my reels the other day, and a quote from Jeff Bezos said is that stress isn't about the situation. Stress is about the situation that you are in, that you could do something about, that you aren't doing something about, and it's the lack of action is what causes the stress, not the actual situation itself. That blew my mind, because it's how many times I've been in a situation where there's something that's really stressing you out, but it's not the actual situation that's stressing you out. It's the fact that you're not doing anything to solve the situation that's stressing you out. But I knew the moment I picked up my leg and I started putting it back where it was, I'm kind of doing something to solve the problem, therefore the stress reduced. And there are two big lessons that I took away from this situation, breaking my leg. And actually, just to sum up the story, I now have a titanium rod inside my femur, inside my leg. I've got a titanium rod going from my hip all the way down to my knee to put my leg together. I had completely broken my leg into two pieces. There are two main things that I really took away from this life situation, and these are things that have stuck with me. The first one is, when you're about to jump into something, do your research. Understand the risks that are involved in you about to do this, but also don't just understand the risks. Put yourself in a position where you're actually going to learn. And sometimes it takes a little bit more than just a YouTube video the night before to go up a hill. Take things slowly, pace yourself, but at the same time, understand that you are able to learn, you are able to develop, and you are able to grow. The second thing is really really important about this situation that it taught me is that sometimes it's those moments where you have a choice. You can either act like this or you can either act like this. Those are critical moments in your life. And if you don't make that choice correctly, there's a chance that you can go down a pathway that is extremely tough on your mental health, because you're not actually solving the problem, you're just stressing about the problem. And actually, since breaking my leg skiing, I've been back skiing 3 times. Actually, next week I'm going back up on the slopes to ski once more. Just because you fail at something once doesn't mean you have to write it off forever. Keep trying, keep going, and enjoy life as much as you can. And remember, you're always going to learn, you're always going to fail, you're always going to adapt. But if you keep trying something, if you put yourself in a position where you're going to learn, take training courses, you can do absolutely anything you put your mind to. So that's my little story about how I woke up in a foreign land with my leg pointing on my shoulder, pointing that way. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you like these sort of stories. Let me know if you like these sort of reflections. I guess what I want to turn this channel into a little bit is a little bit of like a diary, just somewhere where I can put my thoughts down, somewhere where I can really share things that have made me who I am, and maybe somebody can watch this and learn from it. Who knows? But that's my story. Thank you very much. Subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what was your favorite part from the story and what you were able to take away from it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.